Myriads of challenges is confronting university education in Nigeria, chief among which is the underfunding. That's a fresh challenge is understaff. The National University Commission, NUC, said Nigeria currently has only 100,000 academic staff, teaching and supervising about 2.1 million students in over 200 universities across the country. The Deputy Executive Secretary in charge of administration at the NUC, Miaki, lamented the gross shortage of lecturers and called for exemption of universities from federal government embargo on new employment. Inga, this is not looking palatable at all. 100,000 academic staff to be teaching and supervising, currently teaching and supervising over 2.1 million students in 200 universities across the country.
I think the problem is perhaps understated. And the major cause are two: salary and the refusal of universities to engage the town and gown. Let us talk about town and gown first. And let me talk about what I know. I'm a journalist. There used to be a senior journalist who has a wealth of experience. He has been a newspaper editor, a magazine and all that. At one time, they approached a particular university that the product you send to us to do youth service, we find out that some of them are not good enough in journalism. Can we as a corporate body come and, from the practical aspect, teach them pro bono? According to him, because I interviewed the senior journalist, but I will not mention him.
I think I know.
And he said they were playing them, their company, they said the university was playing them left, right, and center until they got frustrated and left. Why? The university says you must have PhD to teach in the university. Or the NUC says you must have PhD to teach in the university.
That's been the standard for some time.
But there are some courses that should be exemptions. Because having a PhD in a particular field does not mean you have the requisite experience that is needed. What we need to do is what they are already doing in the United States. There are professors that are appointed, or you may not call them professors.
No, professor of practice, yes.
Exactly. This last week, I was at an international conference organized by University of Houston at Texas, University of Texas at Austin in Babcock. Those are it was about private universities and public universities. Those are the issues that were discussed. Now, why should there be, you have somebody, maybe he has been an accountant for several years, he knows you can't engage him as a lecturer to teach practical accounting. Your PhD holders can teach the theories. And also, besides that, there is the issue of pay. How much do you pay a PhD? Even if you insist you must have a PhD. He has the PhD, he comes in, how much do you pay him or her? So those are issues that we need to work on. There are so many people who even have PhDs but will not go to the university to teach because the pay is poor.
It's not attractive.
It's not attractive.
Like, are you considering that? I know you have a PhD. Are you considering?
I'm already teaching in one, but but I don't want to say that so that nobody will think. But the actual fact is that whether you have a PhD or not, there are some crucial courses that you don't need to have a PhD to teach. You have the practical experience. Let those who have the practical take the practical aspect, those who are grounded in theory, because when you come to the field, theory and practical, we have to match each
At the
other.
point in time, in our alma mater, at the point in time, you cannot be confirmed as even a full-time head of department if you are not a professor. If you're a doctor,
Well, I
be
think
acting
that
capacity.
tradition changed, so that when it became, well, they took the collegial thing, so that if you're not a professor, you will be called acting HOD. You spend one academic year.
You can't be.
Somebody else takes over. If that somebody else is a professor, that person is substantive HOD. Spends 3 years. After that tenure, they look for one of you again. If there's no other professor, whoever takes over will be acting for 1 year. After that, that same professor who just left will come back. You know. Now, but just as you guys say, there are. Let me talk about myself, my own experience. When I was a student in University of Lagos Mass Comm department, every long vac, I worked with Tribune, I worked with Daily Times, I worked with an advertising agency. As the school system was, it was predictable.
Yeah,
summertime.
Once it is June,
you know you have very long holidays.
yeah, so that's 3 months. You work, you know, and you are paid. You get work and you are exposed.
Yeah.
You don't just sit down and warm the chair. The school system that has become doesn't make it easy for anybody to really know what is going on anymore. So that is a problem, you know. And then I recall Professor Ralph Akinfeleye organized a workshop or conference middle of last year, and I was one of the rapporteurs, you know, for the conference. And submission from many of them professors who have also worked in the field. Some of them who have been essentially in the ivory tower. They came to the conclusion that, well, when you take everything, what they said put together, the conclusion of that conference is that there is need for those in the field to come into the classroom to tell them what is happening in the field right now. You know, in engineering, for example, every 5 years, whatever knowledge you have is obsolete.
Yeah.
It's even worse now with this digital economy and the technology. It's worse now.
Let me quickly pick this call. Adeto is calling us from Lagos.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you. You see, I'm surprised that Ojilu Sokalu is coming to contest for presidency, because I've been to Abia many times. I couldn't see, even when he was in office for his 8 years, there is nothing to show for his governorship there. As for Governor Umahi, if God will help Nigerians to have that man in place, I was in Abakaliki for 3 months. It's not a governor of developing the state capital only. Every nook and cranny of Abia and of Ebonyi State. The man is a workaholic. He has developed everywhere. In fact, the mode of his construction of roads is what we need in Nigeria. He uses concrete to develop roads. Every nook and cranny of that state. Just give that man and this man from Borno State, that professor,
Zulu.
Give those two people Nigeria, let them do whatever they like with it for 4 years.
Thank you.
We'll see much.
Thank you. So you were talking about that system.
Yeah. So you knew that.
Like in journalism now.
Yeah.
Practicing and what we have theoretically in the classroom right now.
Because you need both. I mean, I've worked in broadcast, I've worked in journalism, so I know you need. Some people can't even handle microphone. Yeah. Position a microphone. Yeah. When they see a union.
I will ask if that typing 101 is still in the curriculum. I will ask. I don't know.
I don't know. You know, in those days when we entered,
no. I think it's a computer now.
But in those days, once you are in year 1,
because that's
there's a computer, there's a typewriter on your table.
Yeah.
There's no table without a typewriter.
No.
And then your first
What are you doing with
assignment,
it now?
I don't think there's any man.
No, there's not. Because now they are regarded as
People that have
digital
laptop,
natives.
People have laptops.
Yeah, they are regarded as digital natives that they know.
And in any case,
computer, so
you cannot submit
because
any assignment
one of the
without
first,
it being
without it being typed.
typing was one of the first
Yeah.
subjects we were subjected to
Yeah.
come and type
Mrs. Dada
column,
was the one who
LKG.
taught us
That's
how
it.
to. I don't know if you met Mrs. Dada. She taught us how to use the typewriter. Mrs. Dada was the secretary to the HOD,
Okay.
and she was the one that
The one
took us.
in charge of-
Yes, I understand she died about 2 years ago.
I forgot the name of this man. Put us to that time.
You know, so you need to have, even those courses that you say are theory. Let's talk about history, for example. Don't you do research in history?
They do.
Do you understand? There are procedures. So people need to be taught. I have an uncle who, I think after his O-level, he said he worked with an anthropologist somewhere in Ibadan or the old Western region.
Yeah.
And he still tells me, this was 1950 something, he still tells me his experiences, the things he saw.
So on the final note now we need more hands, definitely. If we have 2.1 million students in 200 universities.
What's the ratio?
Well, it comes to 1 to 21. But when I look at it, medicine, engineering, medicine, pharmacy, you probably need 1 lecturer to 10 students.
Yeah.
For medicine, and the same 1 to 10. Then engineering, 1 to 15. Then social sciences, arts, 1 to 30. But I think about it this way. I studied in a university in America where they give you assignment every week, which you must submit. Now, if you have a classroom of 150
that
students,
is no longer practicable, especially in public universities.
how do you do that? How do you
in some classes there are about 1,500, 1,001 class, 500.
class?
Perhaps in a private university that's possible and they do that, but in a public university.
In my school,
All right.
2025.
Thank you, Lekon Shote. Thank you for your contribution.